You're joining us in the club today, and we got some good stuff for you. Episode 63 of the Hat Chat podcast. Hello, I'm Chris Trott.
I'm Ross Hornby.
And I'm Alex Smith, and that finger was very kindly provided by Dudley Ramsey, I believe.
Correct.
Thank you for that.
Dudley. Cheers,
Dudders.
Dudley. You're right, Dudley.
Probably
not from Birmingham. Are they from
We're going to be
Birmingham?
with you for the next 40 minutes, talking about a few hypotheticals that have been provided by our Patreon supporters, which you can also become one of them and have that democratic vote. It's only democratic once you've paid to get into the system, though.
Yeah, it's a bit elitist in a way. However, we like to give something back to people that give something to us and allow us to continue doing it weekly. So that's the system we provided. Get in the system or get out.
Thank you for the people that have kindly supported the podcast up until now.
And everyone else, thank you for kindly supporting us by listening to the ads and stuff in between. Cheers.
Just looking at us and not vomiting is thank you.
For that. I mean, got to take every win you can get, really.
Every win possible.
Let's just not mess about again. Like I always say, let's just get into it. So, Alex Smith, who was the most top voted question? Who?
So the first hypothetical today for us is the following. If you could start a secret society, what would be its goals and who would you include in said secret society?
Right.
And I guess the name of the secret society as well.
Do an example of a secret society that you know of. But would it be secret then, I guess?
Yeah.
I mean, the most famous one is probably the Illuminati, isn't it? Who are essentially meant to be the power brokers of the world in various positions, pulling levers. I don't think that's true. I don't think human beings are capable of having. I mean, if the Illuminati exist, it'd be like a globalist dream. Wow, you've got this network of ultra powerful, ultra hidden individuals who are making sure everything goes the way they want. And it's like, well, amazing. We've got this incredible tight network of we can make the world do anything, but it's not the case.
It's more likely just a wealthy elite club.
Yeah,
really.
People that can do whatever they want.
Just we can all just snort coke off.
Exactly. That's just all they do. It's just hedonists, I think.
Wales Bank.
Yeah. I think that's the natural. I think that's the natural route of most secret societies. Is one day they all want to be massive hedonists having pies.
I think that's it.
Coke pies on the back of a humpback whale.
A few powerful people in Oxford and Cambridge, for example, decide to hold a club for their friends who are also rich, and then they bring in other people that are also rich, and then some rules start forming. So it's well, you're not rich enough, actually, you don't have enough power, you can't come into this. And then you can see how that turns in political, because we're all going into politics. Let's bring in Dave. He's a really good politician, and he knows some people. He's got hands in pockets.
Dave! I remember Dave. He used to stick his dick in a toilet roll holder, right? Yeah, that's him.
That's the guy. He'll do that in front of us. It'll be a right
so much clearance.
Down the cricket club.
So much clearance.
Anyway.
Well, Fight Club. Fight Club's a secret society, right?
That is
so we have to found a secret society. I think I'll do two. I'll do a serious one, I'll do a silly one. Yeah?
All right.
Okay. I'm struggling to think of any either.
Go.
So a serious one, I would love to do essentially the secular pursuit of knowledge, which in many forms is essentially a university or a think tank or but secret. Exactly. I don't know
anyone your knowledge.
I think that it would be interesting to go for some really wacky stuff that people. I mean, I'm assuming this secret society has a funding source, right? Because half of all new knowledge we accrue is because it's been funded, right? Most scientific studies, PhDs, things like that, they're all essentially funded by something, often companies who then wanting to work for them. A
multimillionaire that is relatively decent guy just giving you some money because he's a bit bored, should we say.
Well, there we go. So we've got the funding sorted. So it would be people who want to come in and try out fringe science. Not gonna lie, weird shit. I'd be so down for that, just to be so what's this then? It's the guys that are doing like messing around with CRISPR. I'd have a lot of extremely heavy-handed ethical rules, just so you're clear. So I'd be the only life you can mess with has to either be plant or your own. It cannot be an animal or another human being. You can't. I don't want people doing experiments on animals and people and shit like that. I'm not about that, but I am about just giving funding to more out there ideas to see what could be developed.
Okay.
I think I'd enjoy that quite a lot. And the kind of people I would invite are, essentially probably scientists, engineers, things like that, who'd want to come and try out some wacky stuff.
But they've got to be a right laugh too.
Well, they don't have to be a right laugh.
Yeah, like,
they can if they want. I mean, it'd be even better if it is like one of those TV shows. I watched a German TV show called Biohackers recently, which was actually quite good. It's kind of like it's not quite a teen drama, but it's pretty close to a teen drama. Like they're all at university, so they're university age.
So like Twilight.
It's a little bit Twilighty in some respects. Yeah, it's more closer to like I'd say like Skins style stuff. But yeah, they're at like a university studying like biomedical science, and one of the lecturers is up to something doing like gene splicing and shit, and it's all about that essentially. Quite a good show, to be fair. It's on Netflix. It's not bad. But that stuff kind of sounds fun. But they're.
Do you think you'd have to be as smart as the scientists that are there as well, or do you feel like you would just walk in the room and you'd be like, "Well, you guys leave. I just wanted to watch."
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like that was.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, dude, that's pretty much every manager in existence. I think. I mean, it is a separate skill set. It is like you can have people incredibly smart, incredibly sharp and focused, but they can't organize their day for shit, or they don't know what to shine the incredibly bright light of their intellect on sometimes. And so that is why there is a difference between.
I get that all the time.
Yeah,
I have all this intellect. I just don't know where to shine it.
How do I? Yeah, I need a management team to shine my light, my knowledge light.
And then my funny one would be like the New Flavor Society, where you're constantly trying to find new flavors, right? Like all the time. But
all of this is in secret, which sounds like it should really be publicized in some way. But maybe it's a case of later on.
They siphon it through a legitimate
These are flavors
business
only for you.
Cut time.
And like each member gets like a box of like jams each month that have the new flavors that I imagine everything would be like jams and foams and things, because they're developing flavors through mixtures of, I guess, like flavonoids or whatever they're called, the molecules that give things flavor. And that would be fun, wouldn't it? Coming up with new guys, I came up with a chocolate. I mean, the thing is, it's probably all I can't think of them. That's why I need the society.
I came up with chocolate.
Because I came up with chocolate foam. Yeah, we've had Dave. Chocolate foam, Gary. But a bit like Heston Blumenthal's always coming up with like weird tasting foams and shit. Like that stuff's kind of fun, I think.
True. That would be a very good secret society, I think. Also, it needs to be secret. Secret Flavor Society. Is that the name you give it? Secret Flavor.
Yeah, SFS. Doesn't sound like some sort of ultra nationalist group, does it?
Nah,
you could make anything sound like that. So don't worry about it. Can't think about these things. You'll never get anything done.
DFS,
the Defense Force Society.
DFS, of course.
Defense Flavor Society.
Everything that's Dave's. Is it Dave's Furniture Store, or is it just like?
Is that what it stands for? Is it?
I don't know.
I wish I could tell you.
I feel like that's just short. It was like, it's just Dave's Furniture Store, isn't it?
Dave.
Yeah, Dave. Of course. It's probably not that.
So
I've got a good one.
Go on. Okay. You guys go for it.
Mine would be a secret society of stealthily improving people's lives without them knowing it. So what we do is kind of like anti-pranking. So in the middle of the night, you'd like go and fix someone's doorbell that was just not working, or you'd swap out, a package that is just, bin liners that you know of. Because as a secret society, we also look at people's packages and stuff. That's the seedy side of it. But we noticed that, let's put something else in there as well that they could benefit from. And other stuff like, clean their car. Or like, their tire's on the blink. We'll replace the tire overnight. And in the morning, they wake up like fixing things.
Trott's like, this is like the manifesto of the British security services, except the bit where you were talking about you taking the trash and finding out things about them is actually true, and the rest of it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But, just tiny things. They're like, well, I don't remember that. That's good though.
You're like a fairy godmother.
Fairy god.
Well, yeah. Well, it depends because it depends on your agenda, I guess. Because obviously, if you, let's say I ordered a kilogram of chocolate buttons. Are you going to go into that and then just replace it with apples? And you're like, you're adding to it. So it's not like there's no mission to like, you probably should be eating healthy. Let's be honest.
No,
I won't have that kilogram.
You should.
How do you make that decision then, Trott? How does the secret society decide?
Yeah. It's kind of like
you can look at my BMI and be like, well, this guy doesn't need extra.
That's entirely based on our whimsical fancy of the day. It's like, I feel like this is better for someone, so I will do it.
Trott, like this is like, those pictures. There's one a really not famous. I almost said funny. I guess it's kind of not funny, but it kind of is. There's a picture of there's a drawn picture of a heroin addict who's putting a needle in his arm, but Jesus is there putting the needle in himself. Have you seen it? Right. And this is like what I imagine you're doing, Trott, where you're just like, I'm not going to stop you doing heroin, man, but I'm going to try and take this for you.
Here we go.
Oh, God. I'm with you.
Fairy godmother is here to help.
Oh my God. Trott just secretly gets high with just people on the streets. Yeah. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Life's shitty. Life's shitty. I'll have some too.
This is actually quite a fucked up image now I look at it.
Really, yeah. It sounds horrific. I mean, even just the basic description of it sounds fucked up, but that's fine. We get to see it doing nice.
Yeah, because I want you to get the context.
Yeah,
I'm talking
yeah.
about.
It needs to be visual. I mean, does it need? Can it be extreme, or is that too? Oh my God! That Jesus is throwing his arm in front of a guy about to stick himself.
Yeah.
Right.
It was like a heroin junkie about to stick a needle in his arm, but they've painted it in a way that Jesus is reaching over the guy's shoulder and he's putting the needle into Jesus' arm instead.
Jesus is the wheel.
You're doing
essentially
it to him.
Oh man!
Either that or Jesus is a horrendous heroin addict, and he just gets
very briefly
rushing in.
Yeah, Jesus is just ambushing people as they're about to take. Oh, no, my go.
That's not
because he feels no lasting effects. This bastard's getting away with it. He's got healthy hair and teeth. He's fine. Yeah, it's not killing him.
Yeah,
that's for
greedy
sure.
Jesus,
greedy drug addict Jesus.
Sorry to fans of Jesus out there.
Sorry to those.
Well, I mean, anything he's doing, he's saving that heroin addict. So
yeah, of course, and he could tank heroin. What else could he tank?
Loads of stuff.
You could probably, just take an entire bag of paracetamol and just feel fine.
Probably.
Careful. I mean, paracetamol is pretty dangerous.
We're talking about heroin and then paracetamol. I mean, very different things. Yeah. Very.
Ross, what's your secret society? Is it the paracetamol chewers club?
No, I think
we'll chew it up for you. We know some people can't swallow it.
Like a hyper extreme version of using the word extreme doesn't sound convincing or good, but it's kind of like LARPing, but like Lord of the Rings. So like people will literally live a Lord of the Rings driven second life, but basically there's sets that are in people's homes.
Wants to do Lord of the Rings LARP, but doesn't want anyone to know he does Lord of the Rings LARP.
Exactly, but to an extreme level, as in like each person will set up an entire room in their house dedicated to a scene in Lord of the Rings, and you move around the society going to various locations. And whoever's got Mordor is fucked, I'll be honest, because they're going to have real flowing lava and shit. They're going to have some horrible shit in their home. And they're going to have a pool party as well. That's the rules.
I'm sorry. Dave, I know we're talking outside of the society, but we're going to need more lava in your room because it's not selling it for everyone else.
Am I playing Mr. Frodo?
Yeah. So you're in full character here, and you can never break character when with the club.
Once you enter that room.
Frodo!
Come dine with me, Lord of the Rings edition is essentially what you're asking for here.
That's exactly what I'm asking for.
But everybody has to commit a huge amount of their budget to converting a part of their home into a set.
Is there a contractual obligation part of your salary has to go to Lord of the Rings Society?
This is the secret part is that it's really dodgy in terms of funding.
Dodgy.
Not that it's not going to fund terrorism or anything like that, but it's certainly going to be dodgy.
It comes from
which
sources.
Set would you want?
Which what set?
If it was, which one would you want to set?
I think I'd go obviously for the Shire. I think the Shire is one of the kind of calmer. You can actually probably live in. Well, I couldn't. I'm 6'3". I couldn't really fit in one, but you could scale it up.
Yeah,
and I think that's the good thing.
You went for the Shire over where does Elrond live?
The elves. That's
Rivendell.
Really nice.
Looks insane.
To replicate that in any home is nearly impossible. So maybe we'd have to start flexing our cash.
You've got the magic money tree that Trott gave me. So where would you live? Minas Tirith?
I think we'd just have to
Minas Tirith put in the back. Scale.
We're getting we'd have to be a third, maybe.
I can imagine.
What was the actual model they had? Because they were walking around it. It was like
that was pretty
shin height.
Yeah. I mean, it was amazing, absolutely amazing, but it was still like you wouldn't be able to live in it. Yeah. You wouldn't be able to walk into it. It was like the same size as like a little bit smaller than Action Man, I'm guessing. It was still quite big, I remember.
But I imagine
the hobbits will have to be small as well, like in real life. They have to be small.
Yeah,
but not children. Right? Children are not allowed.
No children.
No children at all. What about like having kids?
Gandalf's the drinker. And the smoker. And a weed smoker.
And a weed smoker.
And
There's
a weed
lot.
smoker and a drinker, yeah.
You get
Kids
to be the
aren't allowed
hobbits. It's you and whoever gets to play Gandalf is just on the wacky tobacco. Whoever's playing Mordor, they can only eat meat. Like their guts are a mess. Like they are. We've had nothing but meat and maggoty bread. And you're just like, God, you've got dysentery. You've got full-scale dysentery for this.
They're the stinky ones.
Yeah.
So you got to watch out for them. But there could be fringe. This could also kind of like fringe off into like a Matrix society as well, where everyone's near.
Oh.
That's a very different saying.
Films, so it's very different to what I'm saying. It's just like
just convert my entire basement to Rivendell. You're asking me to join the Matrix Society, for Christ's sake.
Movie LARP scenarios for epic fantasy films.
I mean, this is the funny thing is this is kind of reflective, I think, of people who do multiple LARPs where they've got like all their sci-fi kit and then all that. Like it's a bit like me. I've got airsoft and I've got all my medieval kit for LARP. And it's just like ridiculous where you're just like, you've got all of this airsoft stuff, all of this other stuff. And I mean, God, like, it's just, it must be insane managing multiple LARPs. I don't know how people do it because you've got all of the different costume. Just more costume than actual clothes you own, I think, is probably the way to do it. Just having
to keep it secret in the society, and that way you have
you can get what would happen if it got out, Ross?
If it got out, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, maybe some of the dudes' wives might be like, whoa, that's what you've been doing with your time? Come on.
Well, they haven't noticed that part of their home's been converted into Mordor.
Well, this is the secret element. If they find out, they're done. They're out. They're out, or they have to provide a different location. That's a pretty big
commitment for them to have to hide a part of their home from their family forever.
I
think it's all going to be like basements and like secret doors and stuff like that.
It has to be, right? Key coded.
With doors in them. Yeah, key coded.
Also, what's behind here? Is it guns? Is it the dark things you do on the internet? No, it's just my scale replica of
walks in dressed like Hobbit.
Deep.
I think just when you set this up, Ross, when, not if.
Of course.
If you could add a clause into every house that it's networked to a button, like a panic button, essentially, where you have to shut down the secret society, and ultimately every button is linked on everyone's rooms to fire, which would burn down the entire thing.
I'm glad you said fire, because I feel like I was suddenly imagining that, like, flipping, walls start flipping around to like reveal like a mundane garage or something, and then it's just like, no. But I think the realistic thing to get rid of everything immediately is to start a house fire.
Yeah,
burn it down completely. The torches come out from the sky.
Realistically speaking, you're
That's it. The society's down. We're down. Lord of the Rings
Sauron's taken over.
Who gets to play Sauron?
That's a good point.
That's a good point. I don't know. I mean, who would you play?
I would play. I mean, Gandalf would be a fun one, wouldn't it? Let's be honest.
The thing is, I feel like Gandalf has to be big. He's going to have to be really big. I know you're tall, but I think he needs to be tall. He has to have a real beard. That's part of the rules. And he also has to be genuinely a wizard.
I mean, Gandalf was tall, but not like only because really in reference to the. Yeah. I mean, was he taller than Aragorn?
I think he was.
Yeah.
Only because he was wearing that pointy hat all the time. It's really hard to tell.
That does add a lot of height. Yeah. I think I'd be the mouth of Sauron.
The mouth of Sauron come in.
Just a magnifier
over the front. Yeah. Big,
you come to my gate, and Trott just has to maintain a gate. That's Trott's like, get out. It's like, I'll take the weird costume requirements if I only have to put up 3 large corrugated iron like pieces.
That's my room. Is just the gate.
Because the Mouth of Sauron's not even in the cinematic release.
He's actually got the inside.
The Mouth of Sauron.
The Mouth of Sauron is not in the cinematic release, as far as I'm aware. It's only in the extended version.
Yeah, it's in the extended. Yeah. It's
I thought it was in the extended version. Just when he comes out and talks to them, and like,
they all merge into one.
Sauron's going to kill you, and then they're like, yeah, whatever, and then they open the gates, and then they just beat him back.
I
can't remember the cinematic release versus the extended.
It's only
whoever plays Radagast does literally have to have a bird living in their hair as well, which is a pretty big commitment to a role.
Are we gonna do the?
Oh shit! My bird got away again. Hold on.
Try keeping that secret.
Is he in Lord of the Rings?
No, he's in Hobbit, I believe, isn't he?
Yeah,
was he in Lord of the Rings?
Yeah,
I think he was in the books. I think he's mentioned.
That'll be me one day.
Oh wow, there you go.
I think he's mentioned in maybe only in the later books because they talk about the different wizards, don't they? They talk about like how there's the wizards of.
Who gets Tom Bombadil, the OP one?
I mean, they're both brown wizards, actually, thinking about it.
Again, Bombadil, don't think he was in either, was he?
He's in the book.
Bombadil was cut.
So
straight away.
this is a movie version.
He's in the game as well. The Battle for Middle Earth. You would
if you're going to cut scenes or cut characters to save money, the whole Tom Bombadil excursion really is a good place. They literally in the books just like, and then they met this dude who took them off in his house for a while.
Really early on as well.
And there was this woman that I think kind of alludes to them banging or something. I don't know, but and then they just leave and they don't see Tom Bombadil again. And they learned lots from that. It's really weird. It's like a night at Tom Bombadil's, basically.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. But cut straight away.
Yeah.
Don't need it.
It'd be an easy one to cut.
I think we got some incredible secret societies. Of course, they don't exist, and we're not actively working on them right now. So
mine could exist. I think. I feel like mine could exist. It could be. I mean,
doesn't.
Definitely doesn't exist. It shouldn't. I would go to it.
There's a deep web forum.
And what would your text message alert be? You think, Ross?
It depends.
For the group. Oh, hold on, it's my Lord of the Rings group. I mean, my Star Wars group. Yeah. That's a weird alert for a Star Wars group.
Yeah, wow. Change it up.
Okay, well, let's move on, shall we? But before that, please enjoy this wonderful ad break. Or maybe you enjoyed the absolute nothingness that just happened because you are a Patreon supporter. Thank you, Patreon.
Oh yeah, indeed.
Or you're watching it on YouTube. There's that as well. So thank you. Anyway, should we do another hypothetical, or do you want to move on?
There is another one, which I don't. Yeah, we can just skirt over that one.
Let's do a little bit. So the second one is: would you want to live in a world where everyone's thoughts appeared above their head as text?
I feel like the text part really is null and void. It's just literally hearing, or basically knowing everyone's thoughts. I guess hearing them is differently because you might get different context and tone. So it might feel differently if you hear their voice saying it. But to see it above their head, I wouldn't want to live in that world. No, it's the simple answer.
There's certain things that just
very unnerving. I mean, I feel like obviously, I guess you can't lie because essentially what they're thinking. I mean, unless you're really, really good at thought control, someone lying to you to your face and stuff, it's going to pop up above the head. It's like, wow, that's clearly not what you meant then. So
I think it would be sensory overload as well because my thoughts aren't exactly cohesive anyway. It would be a scatterbrained mash of everything going on right now of my environment, everything I'm soaking in, as well as trying to form sentences, and you could see all the words just being typoed up there and being recorrected or just out of order and stuff. I think it would be very distracting.
A much better way to present it. The thing is, as well, is that thought isn't best represented necessarily by text. It's just a good way to communicate it in high density of information, essentially. But you could just instead have imagine a chart that has little dots, right? So you got all these little dots attributed to different feelings. So things like anxiousness, energy, sleepiness, all these different things. And as they become more and more present in your brain, they grow and get larger and then shrink down during the day. Because obviously in the morning you'll be hungry or waking up, and then as you have something to eat, or if you as you start to get more alert, the sleepiness and hungriness bubbles shrink. I think that could be a much more
might be more beneficial. Yeah,
exactly.
Because you can literally look about, he's a bit sleepy and angry right now, I'll leave off. How
do you picture that represented there? Because I'm now picturing a window in the forehead, which shows the brain, and then the kind of colors moving around
it. Mood rings.
Like a Rorschach mood ring kind of combo.
Damn.
Yeah, you've got skin like a squid, and it changes color underneath the surface of your skin to become different things and to show off different emotions, or indeed like a panther chameleon, which also shows off the same thing.
Now, how nuanced would this get? For example,
not that nuance, because with nuance comes too much information and embarrassment.
Or would
surely we get used to it.
Start going flirtatious, feeling sexy. Really getting aroused now. It'll be very awkward.
I'd like to think that the core, the main feelings that people feel have a color assigned to them rather than a word, because otherwise you'd have to create new words with new feelings, and I think you need to just have that
color chart then. Fair enough. I like that, but that's not the question. If you had text,
the text.
I mean, I wanted to make it more of an interesting response because I read that earlier and I was just like, no.
What if it was like a like you said the other day, the Nintendo kind of pass system, but you get the message goes to your phone. So you look at it and you're like, that person just sent me. What the hell are they thinking? And then you're seeing their thoughts sent directly to your phone. So it's not just above their head. It's more of it's an even more personal thing because they were thinking about you and it went to your phone.
I mean, that feels like a future dating app to me. To be honest with you, that feels like a future dating app where you can choose to walk into a room. Yeah, you can walk into a room, and in that room, people within that room can then send messages to you. It's a bit like, I guess,
what colours on his forehead
that things like AirDrop would mean. Well, when Bluetooth originally came out when we were at college, and you could send Bluetooth messages to each other.
Yeah,
like unsolicited.
School, sorry,
unsolicited Bluetooth messages where like you could just see if somebody had their Bluetooth on, you'd be like, send.
That's the reason all of us saw a horse fucking a person.
Exactly.
Or like a giant ball coming out of a vagina.
Yeah.
Someone like sent you one of those things that, oh, for God's sake.
Our formative years.
Why? Yeah, we're ruined. Well, not as ruined as
I like that idea a bit more. I think I like the mood colors the most for sure because I think that can actually be beneficial. But
that feels like a whole different
the secret text communication might be all right. But also if you could filter it to be I just want to receive positive messages, thanks. I don't want to receive any negative ones.
Yeah.
I just want to boost.
Just really filter out.
What world are you trying to create for yourself, Trott? I just want to walk through and just be like,
in blissful ignorance.
Do you want blissful ignorance, though? It's not blissful ignorance because you're asking for the good stuff. Blissful ignorance is neither.
They don't have to
which would
send
be
me
lovely. Which would admittedly be lovely. Yes, of course. Like social media is just like the opposite of I think what we actually needed in our brains, and it is ultimately just had that effect. But a blissful ignorance, of course, but. Just to ask for the good stuff is just you're gonna not be able to fit out the door you came
requesting
through.
it.
Your head is gonna be that big.
If that system exists, I don't think people would want their phones in their pockets. I think you'd be like, I don't really want to read through that shit today, or like have it pop up.
Cure
but then is that not just Instagram? That's essentially Instagram. You post a photo on Instagram and then you want to see what people say about it. Like that. That's
almost like requesting it though. This is like a passive.
This is a live running commentary of your actions at that moment.
You choose whether to install the app, and in that sense, you're opting in for it, aren't you?
Yeah.
But of course, unsolicited, unopted in for people just sending you messages as you walk through a room. Yeah, I'm not for that either.
Well, what if you like? I mean, I think it should cover all bases. It's not just complimentary, whatever. It's a live reaction. So let's say you're running down the street and then you actually like slip, fall into a bin head first, and your legs are just dangling out of it.
Fucking idiot.
Your phone is just getting inundated with all the people around you who found that hilarious. Like, God, that guy's a fucking idiot. This is hilarious. I've just filmed that and put it on whatever. Like, all of that counts. So would you want that? That
would be interesting.
No, Ross. No, let's make this proposition even worse. You're going to a funeral. You're going to a funeral. You're at a family member's funeral, and then people just stop popping off like, lol, your family member died. Would you want that? Would you want that? Would you want that?
He deserves
I'm so glad I opted into this service.
Like,
turn your fucking phone off. Yeah, but what if the phone never ran out of battery and it was always on? It was taped to your forehead,
in
front of your eyes. Yeah. Would you want that?
It's a screen that flicked down every time, and you had to read it. They literally blink at you.
Wow.
I think the most interesting part of that would be the messages you get from the most unlikeliest of sources. Like, I can't believe they saw me from up there behind that thing over there.
Yeah.
I think you'd just be exposed to the idea that, oh my God, you're being watched way more than you think you are. And people
the
didn't.
On the top floor of the Radissons just saw me head first into a bin.
You think you think no one saw you scratching your ass around that corner there? No, there was someone standing behind you and you didn't even notice.
Yeah.
And they pinged you a message. Disgusting.
Disgusting. By the way, saw what you did earlier. Disgusting. We don't know each other.
Yeah. Horrendous. Well, there's a lot more cancelling, I guess, just in the streets.
Yeah.
That guy's pissing on my doorstep. All these people are seeing. Where does he work?
Seen it.
I mean, somebody's literally pissed on my doorstep. I think I've told you this numerous times.
No, someone pissed on mine as well.
On yours as well.
Well, basically at the bottom of the building, yeah.
I mean, I guess, to be fair to these people, I always give these people the benefit of the doubt because
everyone's got a piss.
But like when you live in the center of a city, you get a whole new respect for where people might live. Because I think a lot of people think, oh, it's a center. Nobody lives in the center. It's all like shops and bars and stuff. And then
there's already piss on there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to go and get pissed up in the center. And then people end up have a piss somewhere in the center because they're pissed up. Like, I kind of see how it happens, but holy shit, as a person that's now lived in the city very centrally, and now you are as well, you've already been baptized in piss, it sounds like.
I told the guy off. Did I tell you this? I told him off.
Yeah, well, I did the same thing. I had to pull the guy off of the door, the front door. I didn't pull him off. I pulled him away from the door.
Oh, I'm pulling you off, mate.
But the guy was still pissing, and I was like, Can you stop? It's going under the front door. Can you stop pissing? This is, by the way, the front door to the building. So like you walk into the reception, then you go up to your flat. Yeah, I'm guessing it's the same thing for you, Ross. It's got the front door to your building.
Still there.
And it was literally going under the front door, soaking into the carpet as you walk into the reception.
So gross.
And I couldn't get. I wanted to just scan the door thing and walk in. I couldn't get past him. So I was like, mate, can you stop pissing? I live here. It's going under the fucking door. And he's like, oh, whatever, mate. And so I literally just put my hand on their shoulder and pulled them backwards. And he's like pissing so I had to like very delicately step out of the way to stop him from pissing on me. He starts getting all funny, and I'm like,
I think it was so funny if you just pulled him back and then just started pissing yourself. You're like, this is my turn.
What did the guy see you when you what did you say to them?
What did I say to him? I said, mate, come on, what's going on? He was just like, oh, sorry, man. I was like, I live here. Like, please don't piss like where I live. He was like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, you're still pissing, because he was still doing it. He was like, sorry. And he literally walked off. Pretty much the same thing, because he was just obviously mid-flow. I'm just like, dude, like I live here and you're pissing there. Like that's not cool. There's literally
against the front door.
I knew where the next toilet was.
Yeah, it's not like there's like there's plenty of toilets in central Bristol as well. They even on like Fridays and Saturday nights they even put up like the troughs that go over the drain. So like. Guys can use urinals.
It's clearly a huge problem.
It's always guys as well.
We've had this discussion before.
Woman pissing on my fucking doorstep.
Remember we had the discussion, and then someone made a fanimation of it, and that dude goes to the bank, and then he takes a shit in the bank because there's a toilet in the bank because there's barely any toilets that are functioning in the city centres. But they have improved on it since COVID because I think more people are out and about and not indoors. Well, they weren't.
It's a huge issue with drinking culture in the UK when we have to bring out temporary portaloos to accommodate people pissing in the streets all the time. It's crazy.
I blame city design though, Trott, because too many places to make people want to piss. Like you know those fountains. You know,
the one in the centre.
Yeah, in the centre. You know where the Sainsbury's is near the Og's office that we sometimes walk around to. Yeah, opposite the Hippodrome. You know, there's those weird fountains on the floor. They're like a big metal grid. Yeah, those fuckers are never on. And if you look at them, they take up so much space. Yeah. They take up tons of floor space.
Why have they turned them off? Is it just energy?
Fuck knows. Maybe there's probably a reason. Like, they can't get water there anymore. I think part of the reason they did it is because that's where the river used to be or still is.
It's over the river, yeah.
But then so's the road. They didn't have to do this stupid thing. And now it's just like there's up there where loads of people go out and drink and hang out. There are these useless giant metal grids that are like 60 by 60 feet.
That people fall into.
That are never on. They look dangerous as fuck. Like, you know, I don't know why they don't just redesign and put like a couple of blocks of toilets there or something. Like, I mean, it's hard to make them look good. I know that, but
plan to get that fountain flowing again.
They're planning on it, are they?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they are, but
hygienic right now with COVID and everything.
I have no idea. What kids bathing in there? Sometimes you see that. I saw that in
kids running around.
You know the water. There's near at Bristol. You know that big silver like mirror ball thing.
Yeah, it happens.
There were kids just swimming, like kind of paddling around in that like trough of water just to the side, which I can imagine is just filthy. And then
do you think that's bad? I was walking, you know, the train tracks past Cargo, you know, the train rails. Yeah. Same things. You know how they fill up with water on rainy days? I saw a kid just playing in that.
What, in the trough?
Like the dirty brown railway water, and he was just in it with a stick, like putting the stick in and like rubbing it on his face, and his parents were like stood like 10 feet away, and I'm just watching it. I'm just like, I mean, I'm all for getting kids a bit mucky.
Inside those tracks is disgusting as well. It's like really fucked
heavy
up.
Industrial chemicals and shit like that. We're not talking like getting in the mud. We're talking about a kid playing in water that's probably got fucking diesel fuel in it.
There's fuel and there's like just algae and stuff. It's all brown, like you say. Murphy's tried to lick out of that before, and I was like, oh no, fuck off, don't do that. But it's just it's a mess. So to see a kid swimming or playing in it's horrible. But you know, I had an old man moment the other day near those fountains because there were 3 kids who were I say kids, they must have been teenagers, but like they were doing it was broad daylight. It must have been like 5 p.m. or something. It was broad daylight. They were doing the balloons just out in the open, just and then throwing but the thing that annoyed me the most, I was like, sure, do laughing gas. Gas. I was like, yeah, sure, do that, whatever. Like, you're doing it in broad daylight, everyone's just like around you. That's kind of strange, sure, but suit yourself. But the worst thing was they were grabbing these little metal canisters, just tossing them. It's like, just tossing them far in front of them. I was like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna get high, but don't fucking throw that needlessly. Like, obviously
they're ruining it for the rest of us. Essentially,
they're off the tits for 3 to 5 seconds, and then they toss it. It's just like, come on. And there are better highs. Come on, guys.
There are better highs.
No, you're right.
Just laughing gas is so shit.
I'm exactly the same though. For me, it's like, man, I don't want to have like laws. I don't want to have like all of these like restrictions and stuff put on us. When you're a dick like that, when you're like, it's the same for people who go drinking at like the beach and then just leave all of their cans or bottles on the beach. Just like, fuck you. Have a great time, enjoy yourself, but just don't be a dick and just ruin the world for everybody else. Like,
and that's why these rules get put in for the lowest common denominator that ruins it for the rest of us. It's like the burn barbecue things in a park where you just see like burn marks, and then they just left all their crap there. The bags from like Burger Baps and stuff like that. Just strewn all about the place. It sucks.
It's just like needless mess. I remember there was like loads of that, like during the middle of the pandemic, when everyone was like eating outside and stuff, and then next day there's just like, look at this cleanup we have to do. It's just, what the hell's wrong with people, But
I don't know. I don't know where this like complete lack of like just feeling of responsibility comes from. It's just like, fuck it, just doesn't matter. Like, what do you think happens to all this shit? I saw this the other day.
Picking that, do you know who's picking that up after you?
Yeah, why do you not think about that? Like, are you that empty-headed? Like, have some self-respect. Because
you probably get some fucker who said, I pay my council taxes. It's like,
I just don't get it. I get like resisting against like, certain ideas and certain people and things like that. But like when it's as simple as just like, let's just not mess it up for each other. Yeah. Like, it just feels so human. And you're like, what? Where did that not happen for you?
You could roll your ankle on these fucking canisters. They're just on the
dangerous.
Like, my dog's picked it up once or twice before. He doesn't bother now because he's had a little taste and realizes they're just
metal
tons of metal. But still, it's just odd. The bin was right there as well next to him. That's what was annoying me. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
Right.
But try and hit this bin.
We got a couple minutes of funny news to bring us out of this old man complaint.
Right.
round.
Yeah, it's really spiraled there at the end. It is annoying as hell.
So what we're saying is
when you observe it, frustrating.
We don't want thoughts appearing above heads, is what.
That's what we're saying. No to that one.
Because nobody would like mine. They'd just be like, God damn, you are a grumpy asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I go, you are a horrible
pervert.
Right.
Or a horrendous pervert,
Nice tits. Anyway.
Yeah. Cancel that, man. Funny news. I've been trying to find some good funny news. I'll give you some. Woman lactates from armpit. What's that one? I mean, they found a rare condition where after giving birth, this woman has discovered she can lactate from her armpit, which is quite a unique. That was just an interesting thing I saw.
Is that because like the glands are in the wrong place?
I think it's a very, very rare condition where she basically now has to feed her child like with her arm up from that one. But I think her normal nipples work as well. But it's just that
baby.
The article's like suddenly blocked it. I mean, this article worked for me yesterday, but now it's blocked me off with a paywall. So, but that's the crux of that one. It's very simple. She found a little lump underneath her armpit, and it started oozing milk, and so now she can lactate from her arm. Yeah, they did tests. They had to make sure.
It's just their body.
The dog tried to go. The dog tried a little taste. He was like, that is definitely breast milk. Weird. You're built differently. Just letting you know. Brilliant. What's this other one? This one's kind of. Is this even funny? Postcard delivered to counsellor with picture of his own face used to stamp. So he put a picture of his own face as the stamp on this for some reason.
No, that's just self-promotion, I think.
Which is just weird. Yeah, it does. It feels like it, but it actually got sent, which is weird.
Yeah,
we have the Queen on our fucking stamps.
Yeah, why is he on there? Maybe it's a local stamp or something.
No, it's not a local stamp. I think he posted it on there. I think
just paid for the postage at the post office and snuck his picture on there.
Yeah, but like that's. I mean, we could try that. We could try that and see what actually sticks.
So we try and recreate the stamp, but put our faces on it and see if the post office notices.
I think we could dress up as Queenie and kind of make a convincing stamp of our own. Although it isn't actually like a stencil. The image is actually like a stenciled image of the Queen's face. Yeah, like the one on the coinage.
That is a weird one, but I think
very weird one.
Says, I think it's like funny. Trying to promote himself kind of thing, perhaps. And
this other one I found in the news was, we've mentioned him before, but he's broken another record. Wisconsin man marks 32,340 Big Macs eaten since 1972. Now, I think we discussed this before, because what he does is he buys them in bulk. He freezes them. And then he just has them every single day for every meal, I believe. I don't know if there's any food. I don't know if there's any food I could ever have for every single meal for longer than a couple of days.
I mean, we went through it. This guy's got to have some form of sort of problem, right?
I think
this is like an addiction or something.
It's a problem that's been celebrated and encouraged.
Yeah. Given a Guinness World Record, like, I mean, who's trying to break that? Who's competing with him saying, yep, I'm going to get 33.
And the way they're like, I just turn up in my car, I come in, and everyone's like, oh, yay, here comes the guy to eat the fucking Big Macs again. He's like, oh, hey, I'll have another Big Mac. She's like, yeah, here you go, you fat fuck. And he's like, I'm not actually that fat, but I'm incredibly unhealthy. Do you like my hair? No, I hate your hair. This. I mean, what the fuck,
hair is. Sorry, describe his hair. How would you describe that hair?
I mean, imagine going into a salon or a barber's and saying, "Give me the worst haircut you can think of," and bingo, you've got it.
And ask him to blunt the scissors first.
He's got long hair.
Actually, run those across a rock for me before you cut them.
I mean, this is just
he's chronicled everything with receipts, and he's got all the boxes.
Why? Why has he done this?
Again, I will say this by saying I like a McDonald's. But look at where their meat comes, like mechanically reclaimed meat and shit. Like, okay, McDonald's has got a bit better in the last sort of 10 years or whatever about how they source, depending on what country you're in, how they source their meat. But that guy's been eating them since like the 1970s, and for a good amount of time, they were performing some pretty big cost-saving exercises using really low ethical standard meat, all sorts of crazy shit. And this guy stuck 30,000 of these fuckers in his body, and that should not be celebrated because it's incredibly bad for you. Like, there's so little good about that.
It's like he's longer than that, and he's still okay. He's still alive.
Yeah, does he look okay?
By skipping the French fries and walking about 6 miles every day.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure.
The McDonald's that's like
walking 6 miles every day will do a huge amount for your health. So I mean, like, props there, but it's separate from the Big Mac eating. I mean, he's clearly a person who's very focused. Let's say it that way. Perhaps
it's boring as shit. I can't eat the same thing so frequently, every single day for every meal. No way.
It's pretty messed up.
Yeah. Anyway, he's an award winner. Essentially,
it's weird.
Award-winning man.
Yeah, Guinness World Record did a video on it that we were just watching, and like the way they were doing the presentation is like 32,000. Wow.
Well done. It's like when people go in to buy the first fucking new Apple product and people are like clapping them. It's like you realize we are just celebrating the sycophantic praising of like this monstrous system we've created. Like, again, I've got an Apple, I've got an iPhone, disclosing, hey, there we go. But like, we don't need to celebrate it. Like, yes, we fucking ripped all of these rare materials out of the ground using slavery. So you can walk into this ridiculously inflated, massive property that we've created because we have so much fucking money we can't use it all. It's just like insane. Like, we are insane, and it's so crazy. But I can't wait to buy a new Apple TV 4K. Actually, I'm gonna go and get on those.
You're gonna queue up.
Who's competing with this dude? That's what I'm most confused about. Like, there's no competition. If you've had 32,000 burgers, no one's going to be like, well, I best start now.
Yeah, I don't think you can unless you started in the 70s along with him.
It's a lot. It shouldn't be a world record of anything. It should just be a shame on himself. Just come on.
Anyway,
too much.
We do have to wrap up, unfortunately, because we've got a busy day ahead of us, and I need to get together. So thank you for listening to this half rant, half crazy secret society talk. I hope our patrons.
A lot more venting this early in the morning,
Indeed.
clearly.
Yeah, I hope our patrons are lining up and queuing up to celebrate themselves for supporting us for our weekly podcast. Yeah, you did it.
Yeah, you did it.
Thank you.
Well,
Don't forget,
all around.
polls go up for the patrons to choose which hypothetical we talk about, like the Secret Society one. That was a good one. Thank you for doing that. And if you're musically inclined, then please send your fingers to hatchat@hat-films.com. We've had some good ones in recently, and we'd like to receive more just so we can do them every week. And yeah, much appreciated. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you in episode 64 next week. Until then, we'll leave you with this wonderful Fingal by Dudley.
Goodbye.
Bye.